Paul Davis. I mean, this is, geared, towards graduate students, postdocs, and junior faculty. And I'm not really sure how many graduate students, we have in the audience, maybe 2. Can you raise your hand, graduate students? 1. Postdocs? All right, 1 graduate student, 1 postdoc. I guess junior faculty, we have a bunch of junior faculty. So, since everybody's here, I put together a few slides. This is a personal perspective, took advantage of a lot of resources, available from organizations that have taken this as a challenge. I mean, certainly the field is expanding, biomedicine field, and the classic mindset that, unless you're an MD, you do whatever you're supposed to do, practice. The rest of us, we've always thought about academia. So academic positions have always been kind of the target. So I'll present a few slides, and then I guess, Dr. Davis will present, his perspective, which is a very interesting one, so that, we don't necessarily have to gear our career, towards getting an academic position as a university and to pursue whatever you want to do. I mean, that's certainly still a viable route, but there are a lot of other opportunities out there. And the question is that what does it really take, for us to get ourselves ready for the challenge of the future, especially nowadays, especially in this country, getting NIH or rather peer review funding has been definitely a challenge. And we're accepting a lot of PhD students, we're graduating them without really thinking exactly what the future is going to hold for these graduate students. And for a long, long time, none of the institutions, as far as I know, really thought about this problem, and it becomes a chronic problem. Now everybody across the country is paying attention to this. Where I'm coming from University of Louisville, now we have departments, they deal with postdocs, with graduate students. We have educational career development, workshops and seminars, which has been extremely useful, to the people that we accept, into our program. So I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but let me just present, a few slides. Again, is also some of it is personal, perspective, from my own experience, either as I was developing, my career, or dealing with graduate students and postdocs. They've gone through my laboratory. I have trained over 50 graduate students and postdocs, and some of them are now holding, academic positions or industry position, across the globe, actually. And so, here it is, be strategic and act. So research progress, career advancement, and professional developments are not passive processing just like anything else. It really, I come across, the graduate students and postdocs, they join the laboratory, you talk to them, they know exactly what they want, okay? They are playing a very active role in their career development, and I see others, they are passive players. They basically put their fate in the hands of their advisors. And I would suggest that, you have to be in control of your life, because we're human beings and everybody has their own agenda. So, making sure you have your personal agenda. This is critical, okay? And so envision your point. So ask the question, what do you want to be 10 years from now? Where do you want to see yourself 10 years from now? I think this is important, because the earlier you make career decision, the easier your life is going to be, and the more successful, most likely you're going to be in your career development. And assess your situation every single time, especially those of us, doing academic research. Things change, the model change, the field change. You're interested in something, and all of a sudden there is a new discovery. Everything kind of for you becomes, a struggle. And if that is the case, then you have to come up, always have a plan B, right? I mean, this is really important. I think particularly with respect to surviving in academia if you're a junior faculty, I personally benefited from a research portfolio where I could submit, and this is what happened to me. I could submit literally 10 different grants at the same time without a significant overlap, because I wanted to build that portfolio so that just in case during trying times, you want to make sure you're not only having one project, one concept, one idea. If you're not successful, that presents a challenge. So always, know what your situation is, and then assess your progress, right? Where do you stand with respect to what you're doing? Especially with graduate students and as postdocs, really knowing what's going on around you, not only at your own institution, but in general, follow the literature, this is critical. And most importantly, you need to develop a plan. You have to have an individual development plan. If you're a graduate student, if you're a postdoc, and we're going to talk about that because that is really the most critical part, of your career development, having a personalized plan for yourself. And then accomplish your goals. Set, manageable goals and try to accomplish them in a timely fashion. For example, we have critical, competing, priorities. We have deadlines, especially as a PI. As an example, I had a postdoc coming into the laboratory, extremely clever guy, but for whatever reason, would never manage, to get things done on time because there was always for him other things, a lot of distractions here and there. I think you need to recognize one thing is that you dedicated yourself to this, and this is important, and it's a very competitive field. You want to make sure you know what you're doing, and you want to make sure you hit those goals. And what works for me, again, some personal experience, I have my list of things to be done. And every morning, actually, I look at it, okay, I have a list, this is what needs to be done. I always remind myself so that when I go to my office, I don't have to think about what am I supposed to do today. I already know what I'm supposed to do, right? So I think that works for a lot of people. This is one recommendation when I take on graduate students and postdoc. You have to have your list of things to be done on a weekly basis and try to assess your progress. So, and then you have to really maintain the progress, right? So you don't want to have these dips, in your career. Sometimes it's very difficult, to manage those type of situations. So resources for your success. Develop professional skills that increase your success in graduate school, right? I mean, don't only think about just I'm going to do this experiment, right? Because we are living in a very complex world, right? We want to make sure you have whatever skills it takes, right, for you to be successful. Well, know how to use Excel, right? I hate because I'm not very good at Excel, and it's important, right? Is that maybe it's not directly relevant to what I do, but I think it's incredibly important and powerful tool. Just as an example. And then the other thing, you have to think about your future. I mean, look around and identify opportunities, based on your skill set, right? Based on what you want to be. And also you want to make sure that you really choose something that's going to make you happy, right? Because you're devoting all of your life. You don't want to do something just because, you have to do it. I think you could make it fun. I think the most important thing, do something you enjoy, you at the same time you enjoy and you make a living, right? And again, prepare yourself for a variety of job opportunities. I had a very clever graduate student, really a fantastic guy. He was just about to graduate, and the rule is that they have to let me know what they want to do in the future. So he comes into my office and he said, Haval, I want to tell you something. I know you're going to be disappointed, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you anyway. I'm graduating soon, and I made a decision. I'm not going to pursue an academic career. I'm going to pursue patent law. So he got his PhD. He got his law degree. Now he's working for one of the very famous, patent firm. Actually, he's now doing my patents. And now he's very happy. When at that time, I mean, he was driving his son crazy. Now he has time to spend with, he has a little one, and just fantastic. And I told him, I said, Rich, you made absolutely the right decision because he had the personality for it, right? He had the right personality. I think we all have skill for certain things. There is no question about it. The most important thing, I don't know how many of us actually managed to discover our skill set. What are we really good at it? Because of what we know, because of, and this is another issue, we'll talk about it, we really never think about this, right? Our parents, tell us what to do. We follow, we go to school. Our teachers, hopefully they're the wise ones, they guide us, but we never ask ourselves the question exactly, what am I good at, right? Because that's important self-assessment. And again, you talk about, be aware of opportunity inside and outside, right? Especially in the field that we are in, things are changing, right? This is just, I don't want to dwell too much on this. Basically, these are some of the things particularly for graduate students. Clearly, faculty are the primary source for career information. And hopefully, again, I think this is a new era, for everybody. In the past, you never think about guiding your graduate student when it comes to professional development because they come to your lab, you pursue an academic career, they're going to do the same thing, right? And the map is charted out, so you don't have to rediscover, the wheel, so to speak. I think one of the things is that teaching faculty and research positions were the two most endorsed career paths both for faculty and students. And this is, the positions in industry, government, and nonprofit organization really were never encouraged by the faculty, by the mentors, because they kind of feel like, okay, if you're going to venture into those type of, position, why you want to come to get a PhD? But especially in 21st century, that is not quite the right, approach. Now we know there are a lot of other sectors, that we could really tremendously contribute with having a PhD, under our belt, because that gives you so much, power, right? And the other thing, really, very few students indeed, consult with somebody that has experience, that could, guide them, right? We never ask anybody, well, I'm going to go ahead and pursue, a higher degree. We just take it upon ourselves. That's what I want to do. But I think this is something is important. So acquire useful skills now, okay? You don't want to wait. So develop your education and career path. Talk to your advisor. Talk to other fellows. Talk to other students. Communicate, your research. Coming actually to a meeting like this, right? When you come to this, advantage of this meeting is a small meeting. You can exchange idea with people that they've been there for a long time and with a track record, scientific and career track record. This is important, right? Sometimes somebody actually gave an example that even if you go and you do your laundry, make sure just engage in a communication, because you never know who's doing that laundry next to you, right? And there was actually a good example. Somebody gave me the example that the mother connected him with somebody because the mother doing the laundry. This person turned out to be one of the very important person, basically set him for a very successful career. And then this is another thing, especially nowadays, you have to really manage time, stress, and conflict that, that arise, especially if you're doing, PhD and you're doing postdoc. Unfortunately, the average time that somebody get their first job in this country is over 40, right? A lot of people wait until 40, like myself. Then I establish a family. I have two little ones. My younger brother, his kids that are out of college, they're all married. Mine, they're just going to middle school and high school, okay? So that brings a lot of stress. So you have to kind of develop tools, and there are a lot of tools available. Now, fortunately, institutions in this country, actually, they're paying attention to this. right? So you want to make sure you manage it. Don't get burned out, from what you're doing. Seek help. I think it's very important. And also stay motivated and stay healthy, right? We have to get motivated and get up in the morning, and you want to make sure whatever exercise, have an exercise schedule. It always helps me. I get up 5 a.m. in the morning. That's my schedule. I spend 30 minutes and actually exercise. I mean, look at me. I'm looking pretty good, right? I mean, you would agree, right? So anyway, the point is that really, because it's a whole balance, right? You want to make sure, you live a healthy life and productive life and get yourself motivated. And whenever you need help, I think seeking help is really, really critical, okay? No matter what that is, okay? Your institution probably provides this, okay? Just making sure that you're aware of it, because sometimes we have help right next to us because we're not aware of it, therefore we never ask for it. So this is what I talk about, right? Individual development plan. This is absolutely a must. Here is some of the aspect of this plan. Visual representation, reminder of how you will spend your time achieving your goals. Right? We have to think about it, right? Self-assess yourself. Help you to identify both short-term and long-term goals that can push you toward action, because this is what a plan actually does, right? So this is why it is so important. And then making sure that you have milestones, and when you accomplish them, reward yourself, right? This is really important, okay? So that, you look forward, to next, your next, milestone, okay? Celebrate yourself with your colleagues, with your friend, with your family. So this also serves as a communication tool between the postdoc faculty, mentor, and others. Because if you have a personalized plan, and it's important that your mentor also knows about your plan, and you discuss this plan at least once a year, annually. I mean, this is really important, and if you put emphasis to it, you make it important, I assure you, your mentor will recognize that importance too. So it's up to you that you have the plan and you discuss it. If necessary, refine your plan, right? Because you're setting up something and things don't go the way you want it to, right? You're working on a very important scientific question, all of a sudden you open a journal, they've already, somebody else published it, right? I mean, don't be devastated by that. Always come up with alternative plans, right? And then it really maps out the general path you want to take and help match skills and strengths to your career choices. As I said, it should be a changing document over time. So reassess, if necessary, retune it, right? And this is, your PI will not plan for your future. I mean, that's for sure, because the PI has its own issues, right? Especially nowadays, busy writing grants, right? Busy dealing with the issues in the laboratory. It lays groundwork for you to break away. And also, this is important because your mentor is aware of it, and there are no surprises on the way. And the plan should include publication, fellowship, grants with realistic timelines. I think I would encourage every graduate student, postdocs, start, especially if you're going to stay in academia, you have to start, apply for fellowships. Apply, it doesn't matter whether you're getting them or you're not getting them, okay? And making sure that your mentor allows you to see, at least when you critique manuscript, even sometimes seeing the grants. You can get permission from funding agency. Somebody actually, your student can come and look at the critiques. You can do that because this is important. So play an active role. And importantly, again, attending conferences, whether institutional, regional, and national. A conference like this is always important, right? You never know who you see. And then again, also be aware of what's available, right? There are a lot of job opportunities out there, different sector. So these are some other aspect of it, but really the most important thing, again, this is just focusing on your individual development plan and fine-tuning as you make progress. And the other thing is that there are a lot of basically resources, on the net, on the web, that you can go look into them. And this is this national, postdoc association. This is it's called core competencies, and this is, I think, important, document. And you may take a look at it, because they're very useful, put together, by people. They have actually have a lot of experience with this. And there are 6 core competencies: discipline-specific conceptual knowledge, research skill development, communication skill, professionalism, leadership and management skill, and responsible conduct of research. So get the document and read the document. This is extremely useful. Again, take charge of your life and your career. Actively seek opportunity outside the laboratory. Right? Don't always, confine yourself into the lab space. Making sure that you're actively looking around and to see what opportunities out there. A lot of institutions, for example, University of Louisville, will help you to develop, your writing skills. Actually, there are people, professionals that will help you out with this. Grant writing and others. And also seek regular feedback on your performance. I think it's always nice. You have your perspective of your own perspective, but see how others view you. I mean, always it's critical to have somebody else to assess, your skills. I think sometimes it's kind of an eye opener. You realize, okay, well, this is clearly I don't see this, but when somebody reminds you, as long as you know what your weaknesses are, you can actually come up with a plan and overcome those weaknesses. Because if you don't know what the weaknesses are, you will never improve. So identify development needs by comparing current skills and strengths with those needed for your career choices. And this is really important. For example, if you're going to stay in academia, you know what you need, right? But if you're going to go out of academia, exactly depending what sector you're interested in, and look into that sector and to see what type of skill sets that particular sector will need, so that start, developing those skill sets so that you become competitive when you're looking for a job. Yeah, this is prioritize your development areas and discuss with your mentor how this should be addressed. And hopefully, your mentor, will be helpful, in that context. So this is another important thing, define your goals. They have to be meaningful to you, right? Because you're going to spend all of your life doing something, it has to be meaningful. And have concrete, action steps, right? You want to have those goals, but how you're going to manage them. And this is something, you can find it, on the web. They have to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time frame. How long it should take for you to accomplish that goal. And again, put your plan in action and revise and modify as circumstances and goal change. And this is really important. Okay, I keep bringing this up because it's so important. Take action. Integrate career plan and prep into graduate studies, explore both academic and industry options, and attend workshops, talk to people that have been there, pay attention to what excites you or inspire curiosity, keep your eye on labor market trends, read about career options, and collect job postings, track your skill development and accomplishments. So that basically really concludes, but I'm going to leave this on. These are important sources that are available on the web, so you're more than welcome. Go ahead and if you need more information, please. I'll stop here. I don't want to take a lot of your time, and be happy to answer a few questions before I ask Dr. Davis come here and present his talk. All right.